Unit 5, Animals. By the end of this unit, you'll be able to explain the importance of caring for farm animals, list down their products, and state the methods of preparing, storing food, and sheltering for farm animals. You'll also be able to compare the ruminant stomach with the human stomach and explain why farm animals regurgitate. List the pregnancy methods, the pregnancy periods of some farm animals, and describe the special care given to their young. And finally, explain the causes, symptoms, transmission, and prevention of some common diseases of farm animals. And here's a video to get you started.
Very wonderful camera read.
Chapter 5.1, Keeping Farm Animals. By the end of this section, you should be able to explain the reasons for caring for farm animals. You will also be able to list down the products of farm animals. Compare the ruminant stomach with the human stomach. Explain why farm animals regurgitate. State the methods of preparing and storing food for farm animals. State the methods of sheltering farm animals. List the pregnancy periods of some farm animals. Describe the special care given to young farm animals. State some of the symptoms seen on sick farm animals, and name some common diseases of farm animals. Explain the causes, symptoms, transmission, and prevention of some common diseases of farm animals. Did you know? Livestock production plays an important role in Ethiopia's economy. Estimates for 1987 indicated that livestock production contributed 1/3 of agricultural share, or nearly 15% of total. So what is livestock? Well, livestock is basically domesticated animals. They produce commodities such as food, fiber, and labor. In Ethiopia, farm animals are essential to support crop farming. Farm animals are a direct source of food and also a source of income. Here's a video that talks a bit about why livestock is important in Ethiopia.
Here are the adult parasites living happily in the host's liver. The adult fluke lay lots of eggs which pass out in the feces. After a few weeks, depending on the weather, the eggs hatch to release a little larval stage called a myricidium, which swims off in search of its mud snail host. Once inside the snail, the parasite develops and multiplies. A few weeks later, it will emerge from the snail as the next larval stage, the cercaria. These larvae go on to form the infectious liver fluke cysts on blades of grass, and it is these cysts that sheep and cattle inadvertently eat while grazing. Once inside the host animal, the baby fluke hatch out from their cysts and burrow through the wall of the intestine and go off in search of the liver. Once there, they do their best to chew that to pieces, and this is how they cause disease. Immature fluke can cause a lot of damage, especially in sheep, and can be fatal. A build-up of adult fluke in the bile ducts also causes problems and can result in reduced weight gain, but also reduced milk yield in dairy animals, reduced growth rates, and reduced scanning rates in breeding animals.
Activity 5.1. Look at the figure 5.1, 5.2 and 5.3 below and tell their uses. What farm animals are kept in your community? What are they used for? Name some abuses made by people when using farm animals in your community and suggest what should be done. So here's a few different types of animals and their use. So start off with cattle. Cattle are used for crop farming, milk and milk products, meat, manure, fuel, skin hides, hornets, whips, and strings. Sheep and goat are used for milk and milk products, meat, skin, manure, wool, and fuel. Horse, mules, and donkey, mainly materials and human transport, manure, and fuel. Camel, milk and milk products, meat transport. And poultry, the uses are meat, eggs, and feathers. Cattle are raised as livestock for meat, as dairy animals for milk and other dairy products, and as drag animals, pulling carts, ploughs, and that sort of thing. Other products include leather and dung for manure or food. That will show you some more agricultural practices of cattle. Okay, here's a bit of a summary of different animal products and their uses. Start off with skin and hide. So skin and hide is used for things like clothes, shoes, bags, wallets, these sorts of things. Hair is used for musical strings and insect prevention. Fur is used for wool clothes, mats and blankets. Horns can be used for drinking cups, home ground and buttons. Feathers, often used in pillows and cushions. Dung is fuel, manure, house, pasting, floor and wall. And food, protein and fat sources. Okay, feeding of farm animals now. So, first of all, carnivores are things that eat meat. Omnivores eat meat and plants, whereas herbivores are vegetarians and they only eat plants. Ruminant is an important word that you need to know, and it just means that it chews over and over again. And this refers to an animal that digests plant-based food. It takes a long time for that stomach to digest it. Time for a few key terms. Abomasum is the fourth stomach of the ruminants, and this is the true stomach. It's got many stomachs because it needs to digest all that plant matter. The masum, this is one of the four stomachs of ruminants, also called the book. Cud is partially digested food that's brought up from the rumen and chewed. The reticulum is one of the four stomachs of the ruminant, also known as the honeycomb. The ruminant is the animal which has a rumen and chews the cud, and rumen is the first stomach of the ruminants. So they're the important words that you need to know. Here's a bit of a diagram that just shows what's going on. The food enters at the mouth and goes in, it gets chewed up there and swallowed, and eventually it'll end its way into the rumen and reticulum. So this is where the food starts to get broken down, continues on, passes into, it's chewed, the cud is chewed and sort of regurgitated, so it gets chewed up again. Then it goes back and the water is reabsorbed in this last part. Digestion of protein, and then it passes into the intestines. So there's all these different parts of the stomachs because it needs to break down all that plant matter into several times, and that's in the ruminant stomach. Okay, activity 5.2, this is time to compare the ruminant stomach, type of food and way of chewing with humans. So how is it different in humans compared to ruminants? And in the second part, you will obtain the stomach of cattle, sheep or goat if possible, and you're going to identify different parts of it. Fodder trees. Fodder trees are important because they are used to feed animals. They are forage is plant material that's eaten by grazing livestock, and they need enough food in order to get the water, because that's often how they get their water source. So rotting leaves also can help to fertilize. Key terms: silage. This is grass and plants cut green and stored in an airtight container for feed. Silo is an airtight pit in which silage is made and stored. Forage is plant material, mainly plant leaves and stems eaten by grazing livestock. Herd is a large group of animals. Pasture is area of grassland used for grazing. Fodder is food for farm animals. Hay is dried animal food. Overgrazing is when pasture grazers have provided feed for too many animals for too long and becomes damaged or destroyed by loss of grass and soil. Here's a video and going into the agricultural practices of raising cattle. Hay. Hay is grass, legumes or plants that have been cut, dried, stored to use as fodder. Silage is fermented, high moisture fodderage that can be fed to ruminants. These are those cud chewing animals like cattle and sheep. It's made up of plant material with a moisture content of around 50 to 60%. It must be free from molds and contaminants, otherwise things start to go wrong. Here's another video for you guys to check out. Activity 5.3. This one is about asking an agricultural officer about fodder trees. So basically all you need to do is talk to the people in your community and record what they feed their animals. Ask the local agriculture extension worker what best types of feed that you can get locally and how they can be used for livestock in your community. You can encourage your community to make hay or silage to use in the dry season. Okay, this is a table that shows just how long different animals get pregnant for. You can see that sheep, some of the shortest, same as goat, around 150 days, whilst the cow is 280. The longest one there, two-hump camel, 406 days. That's over a year of pregnancy. So that's pretty lot. What care should be taken for a pregnant animal? Well, there's a few things that are important that you need to do. One is you probably need to feed it more because it's pregnant and needs to also get enough nutrients for the baby that's growing inside it. Pregnant animals should be kept close to home towards the end of the pregnancy, and some form of shelter should be provided. They should be watched twice a day for signs that pasteuration is close. In particular, cattle need a clean, well-ventilated place, preferably with sand or a grit floor in which suitable bedding is placed. So you've got to make sure that they're comfortable. And finally, do not keep a pregnant animal constantly tied up with little room to exercise, to allow her some freedom in a field or yard each day. Okay, time for another activity, 5.4. In this discussion, you need to have a discussion about mules. And have you ever seen a pregnant one? Have you ever seen a newborn mule? And we also need to discuss, how is a mule born? And here is a little image of some of the small animals when they're born. This is how a young chicken looks like. This is how a young goat looks like. It's called a kid. That's how a young donkey looks like. And that's how a sheep with a little lamb looks like. Okay, key terms. Stable. Stable is building where horses are kept. Pen is an enclosure for animals. Barn is a building on a farm used to store grain and grasses, etc. And where a paddock is a small field that you have to keep your farm animals. So you've got a field or a paddock, that's a meadow there, You got cattle shedded in a barn, you got cattle washing in a river, and cattle watering in a trough. Activity 5.5. Visit and answer the following question. What is the type of feed given to young farm animals? 2. What kind of shelter is used for farm animals? 3. Until what age are calf allowed to suck milk? Visit a nearby poultry farm. Observe and investigate the answer for the following questions. 1. How are poultry sheltered? 2. How are poultry young and adult fed? How is an egg collected? After your visit, discuss in small groups and write a report about the questions mentioned above. Did you know, aware that an animal is unwell when there is loss of appetite, unusual behavior, lack of strength and energy? Here's another video that talks about why it's important for pregnant animals to be looked after. Key terms. Anthrax. Anthrax is a disease of cattle and sheep caused by bacteria which can be passed on to humans, so it's really bad. Liver flukes. These are an enclosure for animals. Infection is when disease caused by germs. Parasite is an animal or plant which lives in or on another. Pathogen is a disease causing germs. Appetite is the desire to eat, especially food. Carcass is the dead body of an animal. Coma is a state of unconsciousness. And disinfectant is a chemical used to destroy germs. The process is called disinfecting. So, trypanosomiasis is a disease caused by a parasite called trypanosome, which is carried by the tsetse fly. Symptoms include fever followed by a coma, which often can kill you. The disease is transmitted by the tsetse fly, with the victim being a fly. The victim is bitten by a fly, rather carrying the parasite. So the parasite's in the fly eats the victim, and it can kill them. Removing bushes and undergrowth around streams, that's where the tsetse fly lives. And they need to get sprayed, and that spraying is called repellent, insect repelling. So these things you need to watch out for. Guys are going to share a little video about
in bloodstream and subsequently invades different cell types that it encounters, such as macrophages, muscle cells, epithelial cells, and neurons. In this example, the attachment of the trypomastogote form of the parasite to the macrophage surface is observed. The process of internalization via phagocytosis begins with the formation of pseudopods. During and after the internalization of the parasitophorous vacuole assembles. Host cell lysosomes migrate toward the internalization region and fuse with the parasitophorous vacuole. The lysosomal content is released in the vacuole. However, the parasite is not affected. In the vacuole, the trypomastogote transforms into an amastogote. This transformation is accompanied by the disruption of the parasitophorous vacuole membrane. The amastogotes are released into the cytoplasm of the host cell and divide multiple times. Observe how many mastigotes are accumulating through the division process. They can occupy the entire cytoplasm of the host cell. Following division, the mastigotes transform into trypomastigotes, which show intense and constant movement that culminates with their bursting out of the cell. The trypomastigotes reach the extracellular space and, subsequently, the bloodstream.
And the final activity for Chapter 5 is Activity 5.7. The teacher and librarian will help you get books on liver, fluke, anthrax, and trypanosomiasis. Read about the transmission of the diseases and the method of control and prevention by taking some notes. Present your notes using the following table format. In the first column, you want to have the types of diseases, and you put them all there. Then your work is to write about how they're transmitted, and finally the methods of prevention, how you prevent getting them, and controlling it if you were to get it. Unit 5 summary. In this unit, these are the things that we learnt that you need to remember. The first being that farm animals are animals that are kept by farmers, and include things like poultry, cattle, sheep, goats, camels, horses, and also donkeys. The reason why farm animals are kept include things like to provide food, to provide skins, to be sold for profit, and to do work, and also to breed. Farm animals should be fed and sheltered properly. Cattle and herbivores, and therefore their diet, is very different to humans. Mammals cannot digest cellulose, and that's all the material that's in the plants. However, a ruminant stomach is significantly different from a human stomach, and that's how they can do it. Stomach of a ruminant, like a cow, has 4 chambers. The first chamber is called the rumen. Food enters the first chamber when it's swallowed, and it's fermented by anaerobic bacteria, which break down the cellulose. The food then passes to the second chamber of the stomach, the reticulum, where it becomes known as cud. This cud is regurgitated into the mouth, where it's chewed again. The chewed cud passes to the third chamber of the stomach, the amasum, where much of the water contains is reabsorbed. The food then passes to the last chamber of the stomach, the abmasum, where normal gastric secretions digest the protein in the food. Forage crops are known to feed livestock, and that is necessary to harvest and store the crop to feed animals where natural food is in short supply. Hay is composed mainly of legumes and grasses, including cereal crops. Hay is best made in the dry season when there is sufficient sun to dry the cut material. The properties of well-prepared hay includes slight green colour, high leaf to stem ratio, low fibre, so easily digestible, low moisture content, around 15 to 25%, no mould or dust, free from weeds and stones, and able to be stored for long periods without deteriorating. Unit 5 summary continued. Making silage involves the preservation of forage crop by acids produced by the fermentation of sugars present in the fodder. Next steps in the formation of silage include chopping and compacting the crop, with a few days of cutting to exclude air, sealing the compacted material with soil, and covering with a tarpaulin to exclude air and protect it from the sun and rain. The properties of a well-prepared silage include green colour, free from moulds and unpleasant odours, Special caring for pregnant and young animals is needed after they are born. Animals can be sick due to various reasons. Signs of knowing sickness in farm animals include loss of appetite, unusual behavior, and lack of strength or energy. Liver fluke is a disease of farm animals caused by a parasitic fluke, Fasciola hepatica, and affects cattle. Anthrax is a disease of farm animals caused by bacterium and affects all livestock. Trypanosomiasis is caused by a parasite called trypanosome, which is called the tsetse fly. And it's time now to go through a few review questions for the end of this unit. Question 1. Farm animals are kept for A. Tourist attraction, B. Increasing income, C. Entertainment purposes, or D. All of the above. And the correct answer is B. Increasing income. Question 2. Which of the following is not a farm animal? Is it A. Camel, B. Donkey, C. Rat, or D. Hen? And the correct answer is C. Rat. Question 3. A farm animal very useful in desert environment. Is this an A. Camel, B. Horse, C. Sheep, or D. Donkey? And the correct answer is A. Camel. Question 4. Lamb is from sheep as kid is from A. Cow, B. Goat, C. Horse, or D. Mule? And the correct answer is B. Goat. Question 5. An animal that is not used for ploughing is A. Camel, B. Ox, C. Sheep, D. All of the above. And the correct answer is C. Sheep. Question 6. Dung is used for A. Fertilizing soil, B. Food, C. Cloth making, or D. Music. And the correct answer is A. Fertilizing soil. Question 7. Cattle. Are they omnivores, B. Carnivore, C. Herbivore, or D. All of the above? And the correct answer is C. Herbivore. Question 8. Partially chewed food by cattle is stored in the A. Rumen, B. Reticulum, C. Amasuni, or D. Obomasum? And the correct answer is C. Amasuni. Question 9. In ruminant animals, digestion of proteins is done in the A. Rumen, B. Reticulum, C. Obomasum, or D. Omasum? And the correct answer is C. Obomasum. And question 10 now. Which of the following animals is not a ruminant? Is it A. Cow, B. Sheep, C. Donkey, or D. Goat? The correct answer is D. Goat. Question 11. Bad quality hay is A. Green in colour, B. With high moisture, C. Not too coarse, or D. With no mould? And the correct answer is B. With high moisture. Question 12. A farm animal with a 280-day pregnancy period is A. Sheep, B. Goat, C. Horse, or D. Cow? And the correct answer is D. Cow. Question 13. Which of the following is not required by all farm animals? A. Housing. B. Water and food. C. Healthcare. Or D. Cloth. And the correct answer is D. Cloth. Question 14. An insect-transmitted animal disease is A. Trypanosomiasis, B. Anthrax, C. Liver fluke, or D. All of the above. Correct answer is D. All of the above. Question 15. Ethiopia is best known for its A. Donkeys, B. Camels, C. Cattle, or D. None of the above. And the correct answer to this final question is C. Cattle.